Hello there, people. I'm back again, SilverleafField9055, with another deck profile. And today, the deck we'll be hosting is Satellerknights. Yes, they are still used. Well, I still use them anyway. And they're pretty decent. It's a pretty decent deck if you want to use it for fun. Like, I don't know how to do in tournaments or, like, how good is it tournament-wise, but deck's pretty much decent right now, in my opinion. Anyway, let's get into it. Starting off with our monsters, of course. I'm running 3 Satellerknight Akunai. When this thing is summoned, you can send 1 Satellerknight card from your deck to the graveyard. Except for Satellerknight Accumular, you can release the effect of Satellerknight Akunai once per turn. And usually what I use for this thing is like after I get Altair in my hand, because once I get Altair in my hand, then the real fun starts. And you'll see why once I show you the combo. Next, of course, running the 3 Satellerknight Vega. This thing is basically a Gomber for Satellerknights, and when it's summoned, then I can special summon a Satellerknight monster from my graveyard. From my hand, except for Satellerknight Vega. And the combo for this is I go Satellerknight Vega, Akunai. Akunai sends a monster to my graveyard. No. First I normal summon Akunai, do my normal stuff. Then I summon Vega. Yeah, then I summon Vega, and then summon my Altairs, and then go for rank through 4s. Next up, these are just 2 side ones I like to use. Satellerknight Islam. When this thing is summoned, I can inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. You can activate the effect of this card once per turn. So you can just put in a little extra damage where it's needed. It's kind of annoying, like that card keeps coming pecking at you every 5 minutes or so. Last but not least, of course, the last 2 Satellerknight Altair. And I would be running Deneb if I could find him, but Deneb is really hard to get these days, so I'm not really able to run him. And same with Altair, I was only able to get 2. Moving on to our non-Satellerknight engine, I'm running 2 Honest because the whole deck is light. 3 Gongbird for level 4 assistance. And last but not least, 1 Thunder King Ryo. And that's pretty much my monster lineup. I'm not running that many monsters like I do in all my other decks, because this deck really doesn't need to run that many monsters. Because it's mainly trap-based, it's protecting your monsters. Moving on to spells. The 3 Satellerknight Skybridge, which is basically like your switch outs. So what you could do here, this is the combo I was talking about, is you could summon a Kulai. There's 2 different ways you can do it. The one I just said earlier, and then you could summon a Kulai, send your monster to the graveyard, then switch him out, because that's what Satellerknight Skybridge does. What Satellerknight Skybridge does is I select 1 Satellerknight monster I control, special summon another Satellerknight monster with a different name for my deck, and shuffle the target monster into my deck. And while the monster special summon on this field is on the field, you cannot special summon monsters except for Satellerknight monsters. You can only activate Satellerknight Skybridge once per turn, blah blah blah. But basically, this card like helps switch out cards that you don't want, like getting wrecked or stuff like that. Or you could use it for combos. It depends on what you want to use it for. Next up, my 2 Poly Duality for searching. And my 2 MST, so I can get rid of back row, because I don't like that. I would be running 3, but I didn't have room to put it in. 1 Dark Hole, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Soul Charge, which is like the key of this deck, like combos. This Soul Charge like saves lives, guys. Anyways, so Book of Moon and Reinforcement of the Army. That's basically my spell lineup. And now, last but not least, my heavy trap lineup. And when I mean heavy, like this deck is like mained off its traps. Like I'm running 2 Call the Hunted, 2 Mirror Force, 2 Black Horn of Heaven. Like, this thing is like, you summon monsters, they get blown up. Unless they get rid of your back with Twin Twister and crap, which I'm trying to find a counter for currently. But this is just it for now. And I just hope that they don't draw it or whatever. Deep Dark Trap Hole. Storming Mirror Force. Compulsory Evacuation Device. Fiendish Chain. Vanity's Emptiness for plays. Like, once you get your board set up and they don't have anything, or you just, like, Dark Hole their field or whatever, and you get Vanity's Emptiness out, boom. They're screwed. They can't special summon anything. Unless you're going against Monarchs, of course, but they got, like, kind of screwed up, too. Grand Horn of Heaven. Solemn Strike. And I would recommend running Solemn Strike. Like, 2 of them. If you can, but if you can't, you can win, of course, the 1 Solemn Warning like I'm doing, and Bomber's Trapple. So this deck is really mained off of, like, protecting your monsters, making sure your opponent doesn't summon strong monsters, and, like, destroying them. Okay, sorry about that. A little cough there. Last but not least, of course, the extra deck. Satellerknight Triber, which I'm running 2 of. And that thing, like, clears fields. Like, this is what I use to get rid of most, besides MST. This is why I do the clear fields, and it also helps with graveyard effects, like Call of the Hunted. If I have a Call of the Hunted activated already, and I summon Triber, then it returns all spell and trap cards to the hand. Then I can get all my Call of the Hunteds back to my hand, which is pretty sweet, because then I can reuse them again. It's a pretty good combo. And on top of that, it can help discard cards, because it's ability, discard 1 card from off of Triber, and I get to choose a random card from their hand, discard it, so it can help minimize their hand. Unless, of course, you're going against, not Lunar Lights, what do you call it, Light Sworns. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure their hand's empty. I mean, the graveyard's empty. Anyway, I'm running the 106 Giant Hand. Satellerknight Delchios, which is a ghost rare, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys can see the... There you go. See, look at that. Like, it's going off the camera and crap. But it is a ghost rare. Pretty sweet. Another Satellerknight Delchios, which is just a regular one. And that's 2 Satellerknight Celestial Diamond. And that's pretty much it for my extra deck. That's pretty much it for my whole entire deck. Like, you guys can comment down below, subscribe, whatever. Put down what other... Like, I don't have a full XYZ setup for this deck yet. So you guys can put down in the comments what cards I could use or whatever. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Silverleafy on 9055 logging out. Peace.